Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today from your busy schedule. Today is going to be an interesting session regarding nano packaging, and stay with us till end of the session for great information regarding nano packaging. I hope everyone is doing well. Please stay home and stay safe. We from MIFB, Malaysian International Food and Beverage, would like to introduce our future food webinar series to everyone, and I'm Jasprit, the host for this afternoon. I would like to introduce our key speaker for today, Mr. Jimmy Lee, who is a venture builder with 19 years of experience managing his 4 startups. He is the group CEO for Foodie Box Group that has received approval for an undisclosed amount of funding from a group of humanitarian investors. He has mentored 12 startups and invested into 3 of them, including Lapar Esports. Jimmy is also a general partner and investor for Doozie Venture Fund, the first nanotechnology venture food in Singapore. He is humanitarian by empowering the poor and refugee through Watan. Apart from being featured in the Age Market in their September 2020 issue, Mr. Jimmy has also received the award of Best CEO in Malaysia's food industry from UK Business Worldwide's 2020 Asia Pacific Business Award in November 2020. Isn't that amazing? Stay tuned till the end of session to find out more at Mr. Jimmy Lee's presentation regarding nano packaging from lab to market. Before that, let me have a quick intro on MIFB, where it is an opportunity that revitalizes your business through an exclusive business-to-business platform with packed FMB services and solution providers. It is a whole event that gives positive circumstances to the international and local visitors and traders to experience the benefits. Thank you so much, Mr. Jimmy Lee, for your time today. Before we end the session later, we will be having a quick Q&A session with everyone. Please submit your question to the Q&A button below. Mr. Jimmy Lee will love to answer all the questions related to nano packaging. Okay, so without further delay, please join me in welcoming Mr. Jimmy Lee. Mr. Jimmy Lee, hand over to you now.
All right, Jess, thank you so much for the introduction. Hello, everyone, and thank you very much for the time today. And before I start my presentation, I would like to perhaps just introduce myself. My name is Jimmy Lee. I'm actually the Group CEO for the Foodie Box Group. I've been an entrepreneur for 19 years, and just as a matter of introduction, I started becoming an entrepreneur back in 2002 through my first startup, which is actually called Motion Effect Studio, a video production company that does also holographic projections. It was a successful startup. I mean, we managed to hit 1 million mark before I turned 30 years old within 4 years. But unfortunately, when we had all these big projects and we were on the path of success, I met my first failure, which is actually I was betrayed by my business partners. So what happened next was because of the fact that I met someone for the very first time at Starbucks. And basically, I needed money at that time to, well, essentially to rescue my business. So he promised to help me with some form of money if I can solve a riddle, all right? It was a very strange proposal, but I took up the challenge, and within 2 weeks, I solved the riddle, and he gave me the capital that I needed at that time to take care of some of few matters regarding my business. He actually gave me 40,000 ringgit just to stay afloat and to solve a few legal problems. But finding the answer to the riddle gave me the determination and also the vision to continue on my entrepreneurship. And from there onwards, I started my food business with Yum Delicious, my second startup in 2011, which actually serves a healthy, delicious Asian burgers. In 2016, I started Foodie Box Group as a venture builder. So what does a venture builder does? Venture builder does is that it finds startups, technologies, ideas that are interesting, and then we will actually invest into it, support it, mentor it, until it becomes successful. So by far, we have invested into 4 startups. And one of them is actually Lapar Esports. As you can see, I'm actually wearing the jersey of my esports club. Why Lapar Esports? Because, well, I'm a foodie, just like a lot of you. So basically, it makes sense for us to invest into a food-based esports club. All right, let's talk a little bit about nanotechnology. Why we invest in the technology is because of the fact we saw a lot of potential into nanotechnology, because we started looking at nanotechnology actively about 2 years back. And we saw a lot of opportunities because there's actually a national agency in Malaysia that actually develops nanotechnology applications and also commercialize it, called Nano Malaysia Berhad. So we have actually formed a partnership with them about 1 year plus by now. And we have actually just signed another agreement with them and also our partner in India to commercialize nanotechnology in India as well. What is nanotechnology? Nanotechnology is actually minuscule things like nanoparticles that can do amazing things. Let me give you an example. A few of the ventures that we're looking to invest into, to venture into, is actually like clean energy. Nanotechnology has actually enabled us to actually create clean energy by just using water. And one of the things that we are quite excited about is the fact that we can actually have e-scooters, electrical cars that's actually powered by just using water. This is quite an amazing technology. We looked into it, we saw the proof of concept and everything like that. So in fact, at the moment in time, we actually have an interested party from India who's interested to get e-scooters to deliver products and of course food in India. And of course, another good example is a cancer treatment. Nanotechnology has gone so far whereby it can actually deliver nanoparticles or more like the medicine for treatment for cancer directly to the organs. So what happens is the fact that instead of using chemotherapy or radiotherapy, which is quite common treatment for cancer, by using nanotechnology, the cancer treatment can go directly to the affected organs instead of like curing the whole body. For instance, like if you have like a lung cancer or liver cancer, the treatment only goes directly to your lung or to your liver, so it doesn't affect the rest of your body. So these are just some of the examples of the amazing things that we can do with nanotechnology. And another good example that I can actually envision, before this webinar, I was actually thinking to myself, what would it be cool that one day that instead of going for surgeries, right, you can actually just digest some sort of like a pill, and then the nanoparticles would just fix the organs in your body instead of going for surgery. And then later on, maybe a couple of hours have passed, you just go to the toilet and just pass motion, and then the nanoparticles will just be disposed of, and then that's it. You don't have to go for surgeries. So that is just a nutshell of what nanotechnology can do. And my presentation today is basically to focus directly on nano packaging. This is something that my company, Foodie Box Group, is actually currently developing. So what is nano packaging essentially? Nano packaging is something that quite different, very innovative. And the first aspect of it that we quite proud of the fact is the fact that it's biodegradable. Yeah, because to us, everything that comes from Foodie Box Group, we are more like a green company. We like to focus more on green energy, clean energy, and products that we are going to offer mostly are environment friendly. All right, next slide, please. Next slide, yes. All right, basically this is what I was talking about. The first feature of this nano packaging is biodegradable, environment friendly. We have spoken to a few manufacturers and stuff like that. So we're thinking of using bamboo as one of the ingredients for our food packaging. And we feel that by using bamboo, which is actually quite durable, and then we feel that it's more biodegradable and also quite environment friendly. All right, next slide, please. Okay, this is the main feature of the nano packaging. One of the best things that I've learned about nano packaging, about nanotechnology, essentially is the fact that it can actually extend the shelf life of food. And I don't know about you, but for me as a foodie, you know, because usually like when we go, these days that we do a lot of grocery shopping, we go out, get a bag of apples or oranges and stuff like that. It looks great, you know, I mean, but when we get back home, we unpack the groceries and sometimes you'll find, oh, the oranges are actually rotten, you know, because you can't really see it in the packaging. Or basically you bought some apples. I was just having an apple just now, you know, I was quite surprised to see, oh, you know, there's a small part of the apples already rotting, you know, which is something you can't see actually from when you're purchasing it, you know, because the packaging is such that you can't really inspect all your products. So what nanotechnology has offered is that it can actually extend the shelf life of food. All right. What it does is actually it removes oxygen from the food packaging so that the decaying of your food is actually much more slower. A good example is the fact that, well, as I mentioned earlier, we are actually commercializing nanotechnology in India. I just had a Zoom meeting with an Indian wholesaler, and they are talking to us on how to extend the shelf life of onions, you see. So using nanotechnology, using nano packaging, we can actually extend the shelf life of the food from maybe like from 10 to 20 days. Like for instance, like onions, we can actually extend it all the way to 100 days. All right. So this is one of the things that why we have invested into this technology, because we can actually extend the shelf life of food naturally, because nanotechnology is using natural products. We're not using any chemicals for this one. So it's actually using natural technology from natural ingredients that can extend the shelf life of food. So in that sense, one of the key benefits is the fact that as a manufacturer, or even as a food producer, or even as a restaurateur, you want to make sure your customers can get fresh food, and you're afraid of a spoilage, or some passage of time has passed and then the food will get bad. You can actually use this nano packaging, because you can actually extend the shelf life, like I said, from maybe like 2 weeks to about 3 months now, yeah, using this technology. But every food items is very specific. But what we are developing is actually nano packaging for fruits, for vegetables, and also for food products, that means like food that's ready to eat, food that you pack from restaurants and goes to end consumers. So it's very important. This is the key feature of this shelf life of food. Is something that we're very, very excited about, because it is something that all of us face. It's a problem. And of course, when you can extend the shelf life of food, we also play a part in also, as I mentioned before, Foodie Box Group, we are more of a green company. We hope to prevent or at least reduce what we call that spoilage of food, or wastage of food. Because I think if you know for a fact that when globally as food consumers, a lot of food is being thrown out, a lot of food is being thrown out because of the fact that it spoils quite fast and stuff like that. So we hope by using this nano packaging, we can extend the life shelf of food, and of course to reduce, or even better, to prevent any form of food wastages. Next slide, please. Okay, this is oh, yeah, okay, this one. Okay, the next element, the next aspect of this nano food packaging that we are quite excited about is the fact that using this nano packaging, we can actually improve the food quality of what is being stored in the packaging. All right. So what happens is the fact that, you know, the antioxidants, there's all the good stuff that comes in the food. We can actually enhance it, make it better. All right. And this is one of the key research that we've been looking into, on how to enhance all the good things that your body needs, right? So that if your body needs something that is a bit more sustainable, or more nutritional, a bit more nutrients, the food packaging can actually enhance it, make it even more better, all right? So this is a very important aspect of the nano food packaging that we are quite excited about. And yeah, you know, because I mean, like, you know, like say you're consuming avocados and quinoa already has so many food nutrients and stuff like that. But what this food packaging does is that it can actually make it even more better, more of it. Yeah. All right, next slide. Yes, this is something that what we can do as well for the nano packaging. The nano packaging can also remove harmful microbes from the food itself. Yeah, the most clearest example is actually bacteria, because, like I said, I mean, for when you handle food, I mean, when it's being harvested or being produced from the farm, it goes to transportation. From transportation, then it goes to the wholesaler, and of a wholesaler, it goes to the restaurant or even grocery stores and grocery stores, and only then it comes to you. So you can see that so many different processes it has to go through, from the farm to the wholesaler, transportation sometimes, and even to the grocery stores before it arrives to you. So you can, as you can see, there's a lot of process that it goes through, and a lot of things can happen. Yeah, and a lot of contamination can also go through, can also happen to the food products as well. So what this nano packaging does is the fact that we can actually remove harmful microbes from the food from the food itself that is stored. Yeah, for instance, like one of the concerns that we spoke to the onion, what they call that, wholesaler. He did say that sometimes the onions arrives spoiled, or even like not in a very good condition, because usually the farmers will store it about 1 to 2 months before they sell it to the wholesaler. By the time the wholesaler gets it, some of the onions is not in a very good condition, and sometimes they just have to throw it away. He said it amounts to about 1 to 2% of this is affected. His produce is affected. 1 to 2%, I believe, is actually quite a high number of products. What if you use nano packaging and there's like you have 100%? Okay, first of all, it extends your shelf life. It's already good enough, and of course, it enhances the nutrients. And this is the third thing that we're quite excited about. All the bacteria, all the harmful stuff that comes to the food can be removed from your food products as well. So that when you eat it as an end consumer, all right, okay, so you bought onions that maybe it comes from India, all right, traveled to Malaysia, and it was packed by a wholesaler here, and it was delivered to perhaps like one of your grocer, like Village Grocer, Jaya Grocer, stuff like that. And as an end consumer, when you open up the packaging, the onions are well. The good thing is the fact that all the good nutrients like antioxidants are enhanced, and all the harmful microbes and bacteria are removed, right? So that when you consume the food, either as a consumer, you feel safe because like what I said, everything that you're eating is actually quite fresh. Yeah. All right. Next slide, please. So basically, I mean, there's actually another slide before this. There's actually another thing I need to point out is the fact that we are also developing some sort of like two more key features on this nano packaging that involves mobile phones. So this is quite interesting as well, but I can't really disclose much about this key feature because like I said this is currently being developed, and we actually have an NDA with our technological partner in regards to sharing of information. So what I can share with all of you is actually general information, but more information will come along as we go along to more features as we add on. But the other two features I can say, like I said, is going to be something that involves mobile phones, something that you can use. And we will disclose more about these features as we go along further on in terms of nano packaging. And as some sort of like as I come to the end of my presentation, all I can say is the fact that you can follow more updates from my social media links, which is at the end of the slide of this presentation. Just go to Foodie Box Group. We are available on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and also you can search for me on LinkedIn as well. I'm available there. My name is Jimmy Lee. You can just make a search on Jimmy Lee and Foodie Box Group. In conclusion, as I come to the end of my presentation is this: nanotechnology is going to change the way we eat food, the way we consume food, how food is going to be transported. Because like I said, we are looking into various technologies, and from what do call it, from farm to fork, we're going to basically innovate everything. All right, from smart urban farming system, whereby we're going to use solar energy to grow all the produce and stuff like that. We're going to use electrical energy, like I said before, hydrogen energy, which is actually something we use for transportation. We actually have the technology to have hydrogen energy for e-scooters, transportation vehicles, cars, vehicles, and stuff like that. And all the way from the packaging and all the way down to the end consumer. So it's going to be an exciting field as well. And because like I said this before, just from a presentation, I have actually envisioned the time whereby in the future that if you are not well and everything like that, you can actually maybe perhaps consume some for like a pill that can actually, fix all the problems in your bodies and everything, make you stay healthy and stuff like that. Can actually read biosensors as well of how your body is doing and stuff like that. And of course, you can just go to the toilet, pass motion, and all the information will be like stored, but the nanoparticles will be disposed of. So nanotechnology is exciting. I'm excited to share just some brief general descriptions of nano packaging with all of you. And yeah, I'll hand it back to Jess for Q&A.
Hello. Yes, thank you so much, Mr. Jimmy Lee, for your time today and good sharing regarding nano packaging. So now, as Mr. Jimmy has mentioned, we will be answering the Q&A session. Okay, through that we received through the Q&A button below. Okay, the first question will be, let me look into it. Okay, the first question: to avoid chemical preservation is in sauces, can we use nano?
Okay, can you repeat that question?
To avoid chemical preservative in sauces, can we use nano?
I think the question is the fact that what kind of food source is that can be preserved using nano packaging?
Yep.
Okay, as I mentioned earlier in my presentation, the food packaging that we are developing can be used to preserve and extend the shelf life of what I call it, fruits, vegetables, and also we're also looking into the end product itself, like the food itself, like ready to eat food. So it actually covers everything that is related to food productions. So basically, like we can cover like onions, potatoes, and stuff like that. We can also cover avocados, fresh mangoes, and of course what do I call that, oranges and stuff like that. And also my researchers are also looking into extending the shelf life of food itself. For instance, like chicken chop or dishes that we eat, stuff like that. So it covers everything from fruits, vegetables, and also end product of dishes as served to customers.
Okay, thank you for the answer. So the second question will be, may I know what's the safety measurement of nano packaging?
Okay, the thing about the nano packaging that I'm quite excited about, because as I've mentioned before, Foodie Box Group is all about clean products, clean energy, environment friendly. So we made very clear from the very beginning when we developed this nano packaging, the fact that we're going to use everything natural. All right, so you're not going to find any chemicals whatsoever. And the thing that pleases me the most about nanotechnology is the fact that everything, the source base of nanotechnology is actually using natural things that's natural. For instance, like hydrogen energy is just using water, just plain water. And then the water will actually power up the battery that will give you electricity for the vehicles that you're riding. So for the production of this nano packaging, all I can share with all of you that it's going to be using natural ingredients. There's not going to be any chemicals that are going to be used for this nano packaging whatsoever.
Okay, so the next question, the simple one, that is nano packaging cost effective?
Nano package, what I call it, nanotechnology is slightly more expensive. I have to be honest with all of you because that's an innovation. And we have not really reached some sort of economies of scale at the moment in time, because I said, I mean, to reach economies of scale, we need to have more people using it. And when more people use the technology, then the economies of scale will come into effect and the prices will go down. So I would say that the technology is a little bit more expensive than usual. It's even more higher than usual. But the thing is the fact that you can see the fact that it's actually an investment for the future. All right. Because when you use nanotechnology, when we use hydrogen energy and stuff like that, there's also a lot of cost benefits that come along as well. For instance, all right, when you invest into hydrogen energy, you buy battery cells for your car or also for your electrical scooters, right? Maybe the investment for the hydrogen energy is some sort like a bit more pricier than what you expect from a normal scooter or car. But imagine it runs on water. So that means you don't need petrol anymore, see? So it has some sort of like an investment for the future. That's what I'm talking about. It might be a bit more pricier than the other products in the market, but the cost saving will come when you don't need all the other materials that is usually associated with the cost of using certain materials. For instance, like the nano packaging is basically will be a bit more pricey compared to the normal packaging, but you can imagine that the shelf life of the food is extended. All right, so you don't have to deal with spoilage of food so often, but you just make a small investment. So I think in the end, nanotechnology will be a bit more pricier at the moment in time because we just started commercialization of nanotechnology. But in the near future, give about a year or two, when it becomes commercialized, there's more people using the products, the economies of scale will come into effect and all the prices start to go down. Yeah. And in terms of the nano packaging, what we're planning to do is actually to make it more affordable. We are not looking into using expensive technology for the initial stage. This is something that we discussed collectively with our researchers as well. And they have actually agreed that for the initial stage of introduction of nano packaging, we should make it as affordable as possible. So I would say, in summary, it'll be more pricey a little bit, but it's actually a long-term investment and you will have cost savings in the future.
Yeah. Yes, good information on that.
Thank
And
you.
the next question will be, will the extended shelf life due to the foreign body causes any impact on the food?
No, actually, because it doesn't cause any impact on the food. In fact, I was told by my researchers, it can actually even enhance the flavor of the food. You see, so that's the thing that I'm quite excited about the whole technology. Actually, it enhances the food. it enhances it actually extends the shelf life, and it removes all the harmful microbes like bacteria from the food. So it doesn't make any impact on the food except for the fact that it will actually enhance the flavor. So yeah, so that's something
Yeah,
that,
good information.
yeah,
Yeah.
as a foodie, as a person who loves, eating and cooking and everything like that, to me, that's pretty exciting. And again, as I need to remind all of you, this is all natural. We're not using any chemicals whatsoever. This is all just natural solutions that we are sourcing out from nanotechnology.
Okay. So for the next question, for the same person, there's two questions. I will make it one. So is the
Okay.
possible that nano packaging can use in food delivery? How's the temperature control for cooked food, especially the food delivery? Temperature control of nano packaging.
Okay, in terms of the answer to that question, I don't think it's affected by temperature, but this is something that I have to refer back to my research team. Yeah, because like I said, we have a research team that deals with this question. So perhaps you can send me an email with the specific of this question, and I'll try to get an answer from my researcher because it's very scientific. So I would prefer to get a proper answer from my research team. Yeah. And in terms of like whether it can fruit juice can be used this kind of nano packaging, of course, yeah, because it, like I said, it can be used for fruits, vegetables, and of course, and to consumer food products as well. So definitely you can use it for fruit juice. But in terms of temperature and everything like that, I have to check back with my researchers and come back to you on that one.
Yeah. So maybe she can contact you through the foodie group, so then
Yes.
she can get in touch with
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, definitely. Send me a message on my social media platforms, and I will basically check in my researchers and come back to you on terms of temperature.
Yep. Okay. So there's another question. Is this technology suitable for natural fruit juices? Are there any special machine required?
No, the good thing about this nano packaging that you don't need any special machineries and anything like that. The packaging is done, so you just store the food in the nano packaging, and that's basically it. You don't need any special machineries or have to store in any sort of like special temperature and stuff like that. So all that is not necessary. What we can do as a team is actually we can actually advise you on how to extend the shelf life of your food products beyond just using the food packaging. For instance, like as I mentioned before in my presentation, I'm talking to an onion wholesaler in India. So we have actually proposed to them the curing of onions. Curing of onions basically is done at the farming process, right? Farming. So when you use a curing of onions, it actually does extend the shelf life of the fruits or the food products even more further. All right. So we are not just going to just offer you solutions such as nano packaging. We are actually planning to actually advise you in terms of how can you even extend the shelf life of your food at the farming process itself, so that it can actually be extended at the time. So it's a multi what I call it, it's a multi answer. Like I said, we can actually start the process from the farming process all the way to the packaging process. Actually, we are more than happy to help and look into it for you.
Okay, great. So that's the next question. The overwhelming question. I hope we can answer all the questions. If we
Yeah,
can't, it's okay. You can still email it to us. Then we will
right.
to Mr. Jimmy to answer it. So now
Cool.
the question: what other studies have been done to measure the migration of nano ingredients into the processed food?
Basically, that is again another question that I think is good for my researchers to answer. For my basic understanding of how the technology works is the fact that we are not affecting the what they call that any organisms within the food itself. I mean, we're not touching the food itself. We're just using the nano packaging to enhance certain things about the food itself. You got to understand because contamination, what they call that, how food gets decayed is actually because of things in the around the food, like such as oxygen. Yeah. So these are the things that decays the food. It has nothing to do with the microorganisms of the food or with tempering the food at all. Basically, what we're doing is actually to preserve some form of environment, to create an environment for the food to thrive, to enhance its features. And of course, the environment also will also be used to destroy all the harmful microbes. So from my basic understanding of how the nano packaging works, we're not tampering with the food, we're not touching the food whatsoever. We are basically creating an environment around the food that makes it better. That's all. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So there's another question I think is also important, which is
Okay.
can your product replace flexible packaging? For example, replacing metallized film or aluminum foil?
That's a very good question.
And
Um,
another question, another
it's okay.
question which is related, which
Okay.
is do you supply raw material or finishing product like food packaging boxes?
Okay.
Hmm.
Basically, at the moment in time, I mean, just to let everyone know, we are at the R&D stage, all right? R&D stage, and we are actually in the midst of developing our first prototype, which is why we are talking to an onion wholesaler in India at the moment to find out what are the requirements in terms of the packaging. So what they have done is they've given us like pictures of the packaging, like a jute packaging and stuff like that, how it's packed and everything like that. From the research, there's a discussion with the wholesaler or the food manufacturer. Then my team will come up with a proper solution to your specific products as well. Because like I said, every food product is different. Everything has specifications in terms of the measurement, in terms of the temperament, how things need to be packed, and someone did mention temperature as well. So we're very, very sensitive to all those requirements. So what we do basically is the fact that we will talk to the specific manufacturer who's interested in nano packaging, and we will develop a particular packaging that's suitable for the products. And I think that's the best way to move forward. In terms of how durable this nano packaging is, okay, this is something that gets me even more excited as well.
Yeah.
One of the reasons why we are investing into this nanotechnology packaging is the fact that the material, the nanotech material is actually very durable. And I've done my reading upon it. It's actually more stronger than steel. Okay, so that's how strong it is. Why? And this is why the reasons why this nanomaterial is actually being used right now for body armor. And actually, they're thinking they are already making research about making cars using this nanomaterial because it's actually stronger than steel.
Yeah.
So my answer to that question is very durable. Um, in terms of the specifications of packaging, is it going to be available for, say, different types of industries? What we do at the moment in time is that if you're interested, get in touch with me, and then I will, get in touch with you. We'll have a meeting with my researchers and everything like that. Show us your current packaging, what you're using right now, and then we'll come up with proper solutions. Because I believe that every manufacturer will have different solutions and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, good question. Good answer on the questions, when all the questions. And also we have this, does nanotechnology in term of packaging targeting mainly for MNC or big firms rather than SMEs?
We target basically both big firms and also the SMEs as well. I mean, we're not limiting our range of products. I mean, we are open to anyone, any manufacturers or food producers who are interested, and we will basically look into each and every one of them. But like I said, we do have our limitations because it's still very new. The product is still being developed. So we will go into from one industry to another industry to one industry. So basically what we're doing by far is actually engaging with any customers or any potential customers who's interested, and then we will get to find out the requirements and stuff like that. So we cover both big corporations and also SMEs as well. We are not limited to any specific group whatsoever.
Okay, great. Okay, so this question is also, I think you should answer, which is there any restriction on what type of food and beverage that is suitable
Well,
for
basically, there's
use nanotechnology and yeah, you can
well,
continue.
basically, there's no restrictions. Basically, any type of food, any type of fruits and vegetables can be used for this technology, for this nano packaging. In terms of restrictions, there's none that I know by far. But I think as we do more research, as we meet more clients, as we develop more products, more nano packaging, I think we will find more information as we go along. But from the initial stage of discussion with my researchers for the past 2 months, there's no restriction. Yeah, I mean, they are developing a nano packaging very specific to the client itself. So I would say there's no restriction at the moment in time, but it may change in the future, who knows, yeah? Because as the technology becomes more and more common, we might find some more challenges. But the thing about nanotechnology that I'm also quite excited about is that it's actually very adaptable, it's very flexible, yeah? So it's not so rigid in the sense that, oh, we can't use this nanoparticle for this, maybe use another then that's it. No, because there's actually a lot of nanomaterials that can use in
Yep.
specific relation to the product itself. Um, like I said, we're using water, we're using so many like algae and stuff like that. So there's a lot of stuff we can do in nanotechnology. So I would say there's no restrictions, but in the future, who knows, maybe they will face some challenges. But I'm quite sure with proper research and support, we can overcome all these challenges in the future. But so far, I can assure all of you there's no restrictions whatsoever.
Okay, so I think we'll be answering the last question, which
Mm-hmm.
is how much will this cost? This is the same question that someone asked regarding Mr. Emmanuel asked regarding the natural food fruit juice. So she's
Yep.
asking how much will it cost me to get this technology into our natural fruit juice processing facility?
Well, basically, I mean, Emmanuel, the best thing to do is the fact that either you get in touch with MIFB, they will get in touch with me, or you can get in touch with me through Foodie Box Group, or my team will reply to you. We have not finalized any terms of pricing yet, because as I said before, it's actually in the stage of we're at the prototype stage. We're developing a packaging for onion at the moment in time because we already have interested customer from India.
Yep.
So I think it's more like from a perspective, it's more like client based. Yeah, I mean it depends on the requirements of the customers as well, because every different product will be very different. So we will, in terms of pricing, I think we'll finalize it more, as I said, once we have the prototype, when the products are out in the market, that's where the pricing is more or less finalized. But the thing is the fact that at the initial stage we have made sure, I mean, that is the direction we're going is to make it as cost effective, as affordable as possible, to make it as close to whatever price you're paying at the moment in time. So at the initial stage, I think the cost will be a bit minuscule. It's not going to be a huge price hike. It will be something that's affordable, something that you can use immediately without doing a lot of budget, recalculations or budget cuts and stuff like that. So that's all I can show you. But more information, like I said, get in touch with MIFB. If you can't get in touch with them, get in touch with me through Foodie Box Group. They're available on all social media platforms. I think later on they will show the slide and my contact details. Then get in touch with me and then we can discuss a bit more in more details.
Okay, so there's one question before I end is also important for you and the other. I think many of people want to know on this.
Yeah.
What is the advantage of your product in comparison with other nano package?
Other nano package. I mean, I'm not aware of any other nano package in the market. Maybe I need to do more research on this. Basically, I mean, I can't really recall any other nano
Or
packaging
any
that
benefit, like maybe you can just inform any benefit about your product, which is, can convince them to look into the product.
Well, basically is this. The first thing is like, it's actually the key point of my presentation. One is the fact that it's biodegradable, it's environment friendly. That's the most key important. I think a lot of people are more focused on this right now because of the pandemic, people are more concerned about the environment. I think this is the number one key reason. Second reason is the fact that, of course, I mean, it can extend the shelf life of food, all right? And this is something that's very important to a lot of food producers and restaurants and stuff like that, because, food wastage, even like 1 to 2% is a lot of money. When you calculate it back, it's a lot of money that you're losing down the drain. If you can find a technology can save money, why not, right? And of course, I mean, the advantages of my technology, of course, is also, of course, it can enhance the flavor of the food. It can also enhance all the antioxidants, and of course, remove all the harmful microbes like such as bacteria and stuff like that. But to me, actually, I said, like I mentioned before, it's actually an investment for the future. You might see it a bit more pricier now, but when you calculate back, you can save on wastages, you can, improve on the life cycle of your food products. It actually gives you more savings in the future. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much for the questions answered.
No
And
problem.
before we end the session, I just want to inform that, okay, maybe we did not answer all the question because the time doesn't permit, doesn't allow us. So it's okay. You can, as mentioned by Mr. Jimmy, and I also mentioning now that you can send all the questions to maybe directly to Foodie Box Group through their social media or direct to our MIFB email, which is mifb@sphereexhibits.com.my, which will be given in the chat box. You can send to us and Mr. Jimmy will guide you from there. So we hope Mr. Jimmy can guide us for all the questions we will receive after this. Okay. And now thank you so much once again, Mr. Jimmy, for the great presentation today. And we're glad to have you for this webinar. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah. Thank you, Jess, for this wonderful session. I mean, really enjoyed talking to you and sharing to you about nanotechnology and how nanopackaging is relevant to the industries. Like I said, thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for your questions. And if any of you who are interested to find out more about what we are doing, what we're developing at the moment, maybe, I mean, you can pull up the last slide for my presentation where it has all my information. Maybe the last slide. Can you please pull it up?
Give us a moment, yeah?
Yeah, no problem. The second last slide, yeah. Okay, because I see that there's a lot of people interested to know more about nanotechnology, to know more about what we do, the kind of products that we have. So connect to us. You can check out our website, which is actually Foodie Box Group, or you can actually go to my LinkedIn account, which is actually Jimmy Foodie Box Group. Or you can even go to our Instagram account or Facebook account, because I've been sharing that a lot of the products and solutions that we've been developing for nanotechnology for the past couple of months. Ever since we signed the contract for India, we've been like posting a lot of more materials. We'll be making a lot more announcements in the future, because like I said, I actually had to check my lawyer before I come to this webinar, because there's a few things that I cannot even mention. There's even two very important, exciting features about the nano packaging that I cannot even share with all of you because of the NDA. All I can say is it has something to do with your mobile phones, and it is so exciting. It's such an exciting feature, you know. So once we have clearance from legal department to share more information, we'll do so on our social media channels. But these are my contact information. If you're interested to find out more, just connect to me on social media, or reach out to MIFB for more information, because they have an amazing support team. They're very, very responsive, and they will answer all your questions really fast. They have a really great team. I'm very proud and very happy and very grateful to be working with all of them. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Jimmy Lee. We are glad to have you our speaker today. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Bye,
everyone.
Right. Before we end the session today, check out our upcoming webinar on various topics related to F&B industries. And the link will be placed at the chat box for registration for the upcoming webinars. Do register now. Thank you once again, and stay tuned with our future food webinar series. Have a great day ahead and stay safe.